Big Lou barbecue and other things I want to do. And today is not barbecue, it's other things I want to do. But I use it a lot for barbecue. We're gonna make cultured buttermilk. Now, I used to buy a lot of buttermilk at the store, and if you buy buttermilk at the store, cultured buttermilk at the store, it's probably pasteurized, and if it's pasteurized, it may not have live cultures in it. If you get some that has live cultures in it, then you can just save the last 2 ounces, add more milk, let it sit out, and make your own cultured buttermilk. What I'm using is this from Cultures for Health. It's a real buttermilk. It comes with 2 little starter packets. I've already cut the corner off of the starter packet so I can dump it into milk and show you how easy it is to do. I got this last year as a gift, actually from my mama. I'll show you that video down below. And so last September, I made buttermilk and I let it keep going until Easter time. Every week or so, I take 2 more ounces of the buttermilk, add more milk, put it in there, and I made a lot of biscuits and a lot of cornbread and stuff like this with it. But I'm not really doing the keto thing, the Atkins thing, but I am trying to cut out some of the carbs, so I figured I don't need biscuits, cornbread, French bread with every meal. In fact, I recently did a video where I had stale French bread on hand. That usually didn't happen before. So just trying to make Big Lou a little less Big Lou. So I'm not always using bread, but I want to have buttermilk on hand. It makes a great marinade for meats and stuff like that. So I'm making some more buttermilk. So I've got this little packet, and I've got this 1 quart of cold 2% milk, and I got the little packet of culture. I want to make sure it's open well so I don't spill it too much. All right, like that. And now we're just going to dump it in here. Dump it all. You can see it falling in there. It's just a little, looks almost like an artificial sweetener. All right, so we get it all dumped in there. I'm going to make sure it all gets in there real good right here under the camera. All right. There's the culture. Now, the first time you make it, it takes about a day. Maybe you can see it floating in there a little bit. Oops, I spilt it, but you can see it kind of floating in there. All right. Now, it takes about a day. The first time you make it, it takes about a day, 24 hours. And you know it's set up because when you tilt it, it all comes off the side in one piece, all right? So we want to shake this up real well. Like that. All right. Then once you got it all mixed in there, we're going to put a coffee filter on it. Just like that. Take a band, secure the coffee filter down. That's just to keep stuff out of it. And I'm going to set it right over there in the corner. It's about 9 a.m. this morning. And 9 a.m. tomorrow morning, I'm going to check it. And I'll have buttermilk. I'll stick it in the fridge for about 6 hours, and I'll have cultured buttermilk. And next week, I'm going to take about 2 ounces of this buttermilk, fill up the quart jar with the rest of the buttermilk, and it will grow its active culture in about 12 hours. It'll only take about a day to remake, all right? The only reason I'm not still remaking the stuff from last September is because we went away for a week at Easter, and when I came back, I thought it was just a little too old to try. So anyway, new, fresh, cultured buttermilk. Just that easy, y'all. I'll take you back tomorrow, show you what it looks like, and I'll take you back next week. Well, it's the next morning, and I've had this milk sitting right here on the counter, not in the refrigerator, for 24 hours, all right? And it should be set up like buttermilk. All right, as a comparison, I poured a little bit of just fresh cold milk in here. You see how it kind of coats the jar when you, that's fresh milk. Buttermilk kind of all pulls away when you tilt it. You see how it's kind of like coated on the jar there? You'll know the buttermilk's set up if it's not leaving much residue on the side of the jar when you tilt it.
Let's pause a moment, shall we? I'll explain more about this pulling away at the end of the video, but I'm referring to the non-refrigerated, freshly fermented buttermilk, not after it's been in the refrigerator. That will stick to the side of the jar. Also, this first batch did not set up quite as well as subsequent batches do, and you'll see that the second batch is quite a bit thicker than this first batch. All right, let's resume the program.
We look at it here, and yeah, I think it's I think it's set up. It's not set up as well as it does on the second and third and subsequent batches you make from the culture. But I can look at it and see that it's thick. And I smell it, and it's got that tangy taste, smell like buttermilk. It doesn't smell rancid like sour milk. It smells more like yogurt or sour cream, like buttermilk is supposed to sell. So it's set up. So we're going to usually it'll get a little thicker. We're going to put it in the refrigerator. I'm gonna label the top and go in the ice box. And about 6 hours later, we'll have buttermilk that we can drink or use in recipes. All right, well, I made that last batch of buttermilk on Sunday. I've used it in a couple recipes this week, and that's what I got left. It's probably a little more than 2 ounces of the buttermilk, but we're going to use it, and we're going to put it in a clean jar, and we're going to fill it up, make another quart, and we're going to let it sit out for about 12 hours. Well, it takes about half a day to make the subsequent batches because the culture is already fairly activated. And so this evening, we'll check it. We put it in the refrigerator for about 6 hours, and tomorrow morning, I've got buttermilk for some biscuits or something, all right? It's just that easy, and I can keep making those batches approximately every week. I'd say every 6 to 10 days or so, you can make another batch. If it gets really, really old and you start seeing a lot of white liquid growing, clear liquid floating on top of it, you need to start a new batch of buttermilk. You need to start with a packet culture like I did last week, or if you can find buttermilk that still has active cultures in it that hasn't been super pasteurized and killed them all, you can use that buttermilk. All right, let's make the All right, I got the buttermilk from last week in a clean jar. Oops, dropped that. I poured it into that one. Wash this jar to use next week. Fill the quart jar up with milk. It's just as simple. Now, you want to keep, if your air conditioner isn't working in your house or something and you're not keeping your room in the 70-degree range, then you might not want to do this, but we're just going to put that on. You can put it on with a band or you can put it on with a rubber band. I'm going to leave it right there in that corner. And this afternoon, buttermilk will be ready, and we'll stick it in the refrigerator. Not ready to drink yet. Stick it in the refrigerator for about 6 hours. Tomorrow morning, we'll have more buttermilk. All right, put that milk in that jar about 6 a.m. this morning, and it's now about 6 p.m. this evening. So let's see how it's doing. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't want to spill it, but you see it's not leaving residue in the jar. It's thick. Smells, got that nice buttermilk, tangy buttermilk smell to it. Time to go in the fridge, and we got more buttermilk. Put the lid on it. There we go. Shake it up. Put it in the fridge for about 6 hours tomorrow. Buttermilk biscuits, buttermilk cornbread, buttermilk pancakes, buttermilk marinades for meats, whatever. And the second batch is always better than the first. And the third batch, it really starts to level out. And after that, it's always pretty good. Hey, I wanted to clarify something. As I was putting the video together and I was looking at how I instructed things, I realized that something could be a little confusing. So I want to clarify that up. Now, this is that second batch of buttermilk, all right? And as you can see, it's clinging to the side. I've actually made half a dozen biscuits with it earlier today. All right, so let's see if we can get that like that right there. All right, it does cling to the side when it's cold. Back over here on me. What I was talking about not clinging to the side is when it's been sitting out and culturing, I can't get that lid on there again. All right, when it's been sitting out and culturing, it pulls away from the side, but it's warm then. You gotta stick it in the refrigerator for about 6, but when it's cold, oh yeah, it'll coat the side and it'll do it better than regular milk. I just wanted to make that point a little more clear. Anyway, thanks for watching Big Lou Barbecue. By the way, made some delicious buttermilk biscuits. Look at that. I'm already taking a bite off of it. Wonderful. Big Lou Barbecue.